in English. Use of language, whether Hindi or English, is not a basic feature or part of fundamental structure of our Constitution. But the concept of judicial review is indeed such a part, and this aspect cannot be overemphasized and has to be kept in mind throughout. At any rate, in my well-considered view, before any final decision is taken, the views of the courts, including the judges of the Supreme Court, must be taken before any action is taken towards the implementation of the recommendations for introduction in Hindi in the Supreme Court and the High Courts for writing judgments in Hindi as proposed by the Parliamentary Committee. Finally, I might add that the present political situation is not very conducive to the implementation of the recommendations made by the Parliamentary Committee. The language issue should not be precipitated into a kind of political rivalry in order to gain political advantage. Already there is a great deal of debate going on regarding the scope of judicial review by the High Courts and of the Supreme Court, pertaining to the legislative and the executive acts of the governmental authorities, and the debates remain inconclusive in spite of taking place at regular intervals, very frequently and in a high emotive way. Any precipitate action, although taken in great earnest and with strong national feeling, may result into the kind of agitations that the country has already faced long back in the year 1965, and ultimately the remedy may turn out to be worse than the disease. Now, the issue before us is whether Tamil can be introduced as a court language. My immediate answer is yes, but I'll give you the reason. But there are other measures to be taken by the government. All the infrastructures have to be put in, and then a language commission, state language commission has to be set up, a law commission has to be set up, and all the laws in Tamil has to be translated first by the language commission, and the government has to spend quite a lot of money. The government must come forward to spend, then only the Tamil can be introduced. Now I will give you the reasons. Article 348 I have already referred to. There are some judgments. Then I have also referred to clause 2 of Article 348, which provides governor's power to notify use of Hindi or any other language as official language of the state. Once the governor issues such a notification, an individual acquires a legal right to use the language prescribed by the notification for writing a petition under Article 226, which is reported in AR 1977, Allahabad 164. There are other judgments also which I have noted there. Scope of clause 1B and 3 of Article 348 I have already referred to you all in my previous paragraphs. In case of conflict between the state language and the English translation, the latter shall prevail. Of course, if there is any ambiguity in the English text, the Hindi version be referred to as extreme aid together with the context so as to avoid any absurd conclusion. There are a number of judgments, even a judgment of the 5 judges of the Allahabad High Court, 1974, Allahabad 106. Thus it is seen, under clause 3 of Article 348, the state legislature has been given power to adopt language over other than English for the purpose of bills and acts passed by it. It is further seen that clause 3 makes an exception to the provision in clause 1B in favor of a state legislature. The two provisions read together indicate that the state legislature may prescribe the use of language other than English for the bills and acts passed by itself or subordinate legislation made thereunder under the English translation of the bill or act duly published under clause 3 shall be deemed to be the authoritative text of the same. Language is a highly emotional issue for the citizens of any nation. It has a great unifying force and is a powerful instrument for national integration. No language should be thrust on any section of the people against their will, since it is likely to become counterproductive. It is not merely a vehicle of thought and expression, it is an integral part of their decision-making process. Judges have to hear and understand the submission of both sides, apply the law to adjust equities. Arguments are generally made in higher courts in English, and the basic literature under the Indian system is primarily based on English and American textbooks and case laws. Thus, judges at the higher level should be left free to evolve their own pattern of delivery of judgments. It is particularly important to note that in view of the national transfer policy in respect of the High Court judges, if any such judge is compelled to deliver judgment in a language with which he is not well versed, it might become extremely difficult for him to work judicially. On transfer from one part of the country to another, a High Court judge is not expected to learn a new language at this age and to apply the same in delivering judgments. At any rate, no language should be thrust upon the judges of the higher judiciary, and they should be left free to deliver their judgments in the language they prefer. It is important to remember that every citizen, every court has the right to understand the law laid down finally by the apex court, and at present one should appreciate that such a language is only English. The use of English language also facilitates the movement of lawyers from high courts to the apex court, since they are not confronted with any linguistic problems, and English remains the language at both the levels. Any survey of the society in general or its cross-sections will clearly substantiate the above proposition, which does not admit of much debate, particularly in the present political, social, and economic scenario. It may, however, be admitted that insofar as legislative drafting is concerned, every legislation, although authoritatively enacted in English, may have a Hindi authoritative translation along with the same at the central level. Same analogy may be applied even in respect of executive action at the central level, but as submitted above, the higher judiciary should not be subjected to any kind of even persuasive change in the present social context. But before introducing Tamil as an additional language in the High Court, the government has to set up an official language commission to look into the various aspects of the matter. It cannot be introduced all of a sudden, but in a phased manner. On the merits of the issue, one must acknowledge that Tamil is our mother language, must ask its rightful place in all areas of our national life, and the higher judiciary shall be no exception. In the practical implementation of this philosophy, there may be some issues arising out of circumstances that the legacy of the common law which we have inherited, the system of public law, the international human rights regime, the international intellectual property regime, and the increasingly integrating economic laws and trans-border transactions impose an integration with the legal system of other countries and jurisdictions. All this may influence the policy of language in the superior courts. However, we should respect the views of the people at large in Tamil Nadu, and a beginning has to be made. These are only my first impression, and therefore I convey this to you all for any further or revised view after due and further consideration and consultation. As stated earlier, 348, subclause 2, which deals with a non-obstante clause, empowers the governor of a state with the prior consent of the President of India to authorize the use of Hindi language or any other language used for any official purpose of the state in proceedings in the High Court having its principal seat in the state. In Tamil Nadu, nothing prevents the government officers from passing orders in Tamil. When such orders are challenged in the High Courts, the practice presently followed is to produce English translation of the orders, and the work is going on quite smoothly in the courts. We should not forget that lawyers and judges have been using English language for centuries. Their legal education is mostly in English. Thousands of laws are in English. It is not easy to find precise equivalent legal terms, maxims, and principles in other languages. Most of the textbooks on laws are in English. Journals and law books of other countries which are helpful to decision-making process are also in English. The 18th Law Commission was constituted by the Government of India, Ministry of Law and Justice, to identify laws which are no longer needed or relevant and can be immediately repealed, and also to identify laws which require changes or amendments, and to make suggestions for their amendments, and also to consider, in a wider perspective, the suggestions for revision amendment given by expert groups in various ministries and departments with a view to coordinating and harmonizing them. Since law reforms have always been an important state function, many Indian states too have set up their own law commission. Some of these are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, Sikkim, Meghalaya, UP, Jharkhand, and recently on my request by the government of Uttarakhand, government of Haryana, government of Goa have also agreed to initiate steps to constitute the law commission. When I participated at the function jointly organized by the Indian Law Institute Kerala branch and the Kerala High Court's Advocates Association at Cochin, while delivering my speech on law reforms and role of lawyers, I requested the government of Kerala to set up a law commission in Kerala. My request was favorably considered by the government of Kerala, and now the former judge of the Supreme Court, Sri V.R. Krishnaiyer, has been appointed as the chairman of the Law Commission of Kerala. The government of Tamil Nadu had also set up a law commission under the chairmanship of late Justice M.M. Ismail. After his death, the law commission is not functioning at all. I, on this occasion, request the government of Tamil Nadu, and now our learned Advocate General is here, he can tell the government a law commission is absolutely necessary. So I request the state government of Tamil Nadu on this occasion to set up a fresh law commission for the state of Tamil Nadu, headed by a retired High Court judge of Madras, so that the commission can identify laws which are no longer needed or relevant and can be immediately repealed, so that the law commission can identify laws which require changes or amendments and to make suggestions for their amendment, to suggest suitable measures for quick redressal of grievance in the field of law, to take all such measures as may be necessary to harness law and the legal process in the service of the poor. Government of Tamil Nadu, I hope and trust that the government of Tamil Nadu will come forward and set up the law commission as expeditiously as possible. Then my next suggestion is to set up an official language commission. Every state in the country, in my opinion, should have an official language commission. It is true that government of Tamil Nadu had also set up 2 or 3 commissions earlier, headed by late Chief Justice Anantha Narayanan, Justice Maharajan, and others. The commission have released 3 encyclopedias. It is high time that the new official language commission should be set up so that the commission can take up the work of the translation of English laws into Tamil, and once it is done, the same can be treated as an official translation and has the status of official recognition and acceptance by the High Court and other courts. If the government is really interested in introducing Tamil as an additional language in the High Court, the government must immediately set up the official language commission and the law commission in the state, so that the members of the commission can take up the translation work and other allied subjects and works. For introduction of Tamil in courts, the government have to provide all the necessary infrastructures so that the Tamil language can be introduced as an additional language in court. Simultaneously, as provided under Article 348, the governor can take up steps to move a notification in accordance with Article 348 of the Constitution. The state legislature under Clause 3 of Article 348 has also been given power to adopt language other than English for the purpose of bills and acts passed by it. Now, this conference is organized by our good and dear friend, Dr. V.R. Sampath. I had the proud privilege of releasing this, the first volume of Sattakadir about 16 years before. The journal translates all the English judgments in Tamil. The journal has been doing yeoman service to the Tamil population by running this magazine, by publishing articles from eminent jurists, judgments of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. I have already requested many Chief Justices to subscribe to the Sattakadir journal for the High Courts and also for the subordinate courts in the city. This is the only Tamil magazine being released in Tamil Nadu by the Sattakadir. There is no other journal to my knowledge. If the journal is given to them, and also for the subordinate courts in the states who are writing judgments in Tamil, they can easily follow the High Court judgment which is translated in Tamil. If the journal is given to them, the subordinate judges can easily understand and refer to the translated version of the High Court judgments and then follow the same while delivering the judgments. Likewise, I appeal to the Honorable Chief Minister in a meeting at Kalaivana Arangam and requested the Honorable Chief Minister to issue direction to the authorities concerned for purchase of the only Tamil journal now available regularly for the use of the subordinate courts and other government offices. I am sorry to say that my request has not been acceded to by the government and also by the Chief Justices of the Madras High Court. Now that the Honorable Law Minister is present, no, he is not now present. In fact, I told him also, I requested him. I request him to take necessary steps to subscribe to this journal and circulate the GM to the subordinate courts. This request of mine assumes great importance because the government of Tamil Nadu is very much eager and interested in introducing Tamil as an additional court language. It is therefore absolutely necessary that not only the legal fraternity, but also the members of the judiciary and authorities of the government should be provided with the Sattakadir monthly journal for their beneficial use. These are my random thoughts on the issue in question. I conclude my speech by thanking Dr. Sampath and the Honorable Law Minister and Arupshalvar Shri Mahalingam and the members of the legal fraternity and the Honorable Judges of the High Court, past, present and future, for the patient hearing. I thank you all once again.